So, hello and welcome to the 2025 Cycling Esports World Championships. It's public qualifier number 3 and it's our men's race, all powered by MyWhoosh. My name's Matt Payne. It's great to be back putting words to the action with Emma Martin. And Emma, to some degree, it kind of went to form in the sense that it was sprints and setting out early. We saw riders scoring early points in the women's race. We saw riders banking those, and that'll enable them to get that better position that will then hopefully enable them to qualify for those semi-finals and the finals. But we also saw breakaways and we saw small groups forming. Is that the pattern you're expecting here for the men's race? Because it is different racing, because we're on the same course and the same parkour and the same sprints doesn't mean that we're going to see exactly the same race.
Well, I think we'll see a similar style of race to that which we've just seen in the women's Open Qualifier. We've got 26 different nationalities on the event start sheets in the men's for this Open Qualifier here, Open Qualifier number 3 of 4. I do think it'll be fast. I do think it'll be furious. I do think after that first climbing section, we may see 1 or 2 riders off the back of the group. We then, when we get to the second climbing section, see a small group go away for the latter part of the race. But let's remember, it's a points competition. There are 5 opportunities to score points out there in AlUla today. And, well, the first 3 sets of points, I think we'll see very different type of tactical racing to how we see the last 2 sets of points picked up today.
And those points are critical. Points make places that can take you to a semi-finals and a chance to move through. Quick reminder for everybody, we've got in this race, in the public qualifiers, anybody can jump on board, turn up, have a go, read the rule set and jump on board. So 1 more qualifier to go. But then moving onwards, there are a limited number of places in the semi-finals and finals.
Yes. So 1 more opportunity after this on Wednesday next week. The entries are still open. You can get on board and jump in. Head over to mywhoosh.com/events for all the information that you need. You still have the opportunity to progress to the semi-finals of the World Championships through an open qualifier here on MyWhoosh. The rest of the places in the semi-finals being taken by National Federation quotas. And those quotas will be in later this month, I believe, so that we will know how many people will be taking to the start line and in October.
And taking to that start line, always a great honour to race for your nation and to race and represent your country. And of course, the opportunity then to race on MyWhoosh in those semi-finals, not something that everybody gets a chance to do. And then, of course, into those finals where 20 people are in person, side by side. We were down there in person at the side of the course ourselves, and at the side of the course, at the side of the stadium, and that was the course. The riders were side by side. They were lined up on stage. I mean, and the riders do talk about, don't they, Emma, a real environment where you've got that added pressure, that added performance, that added factor that you've then got to take into account. It's not just riding in your pain cave at home, which everybody is doing right the way through and up to and including the semi-final.
And at home, you control your environment. You control what you eat. You control when you eat. You control the temperature. You control everything in your home environment. When you do go to race on a stage in a large arena, you don't have control of some of those things. And that is a real challenge. You've got to think about that as an athlete, not just about your own performance, and what fuel you're putting in, what hydration levels you're at, how much sleep you're getting. Those environmental controls suddenly become outside of your realm.
They do, and for me, that's the great thing about cycling esports. Most of the time, you can get a huge performance better than you can outdoors. You can put down those walls because you don't have to worry about your tyre slipping or the bike going off the road or anything, whether it's raining, whether there's going to be a flamingo flying in front of you or whatever there is going to happen. Well, these things happen to people when you're on the bike.
Sheep leave hedgerows.
Deer, on a training ride recently, I had a deer run across the road in front of me, and fractions of a second earlier for me, or a bit later for him, and we'd have been cuddling on the side of the roadside thinking, what on earth happened? Meanwhile, sat in your pain cave, like you say, it's controlled. You can literally sit there and absolutely smash it. And that's what our riders need to do today. They need to be smart. They need to have the power. They need to put the pressure at the right time. They need to know when to rest and recover. And that was very much evident in the women's race earlier on today. This is MyWhoosh. This is qualifier number 3 for the UCI Cycling Esports World Championships for 2025. I can't wait to see who's going to get the top positions in the men's race on our penultimate public qualifier with one more to go next week. Make sure that you get your entries in. It's time to go racing now here on MyWhoosh on Qualifier 3 of the Cycling World Championships. So our public open qualifiers open to all. Jump on your bike, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough, if you think you're quick enough or you think you're fast enough. And that's what we're going to see. These are our riders who are joining us. They have put their entries in. Now, by my reckoning, there's 96 entries on the start list. Thank you very much, Excel, for giving me those numbers. And just as importantly for me, there's some big blocks, but not everybody will take to the start line. Do you want to explain the reason behind that?
Yeah, so not everyone. So everyone has the opportunity to enter the open qualifiers. Not everybody will take to the start line because obviously the national governing bodies processes are taking place alongside and during this month. So as and when the selection announcements are made to those individuals, not to us in the main world at the moment, and a little bit under wraps, they obviously then don't need to take to the start line. So, for example, the USA had their qualification race last night, and a number of those riders from the USA won't be on the start line today because they've already done that qualification race.
And from those riders that we see on that start line, there's a real mix. We talked earlier on about riders who have raced the MyWhoosh Championships that immediately preceded this, and the Sunday race clubs, all on MyWhoosh, getting time on the platform, very important. But this is a course that's been used for lots of different things, lots of different events. It's used for live coaching as well on MyWhoosh. It's a real favourite of everybody.
It is, and it's a punchy course, whether we've got a points competition on it or whether we're racing for the line. But today, 32.4 kilometres of racing, 378 metres of climbing. And as we said at the start of the show, this is a points race. This is not about who goes over the line first. This is about who accumulates the largest number of points out on the course. 5 opportunities for scoring points at the end of the first climbing checkpoint at the 7 kilometre marker, at the end of the first sprint checkpoint at the 10.2 kilometre marker. The second climbing checkpoint comes, and that comes at the 18.9 kilometre marker. The second sprint, that comes at 21.5, and then the finish line at 32.4. So 5 opportunities to score points. The top 20 riders across the line. So this is first across the line. The top 20 across the line will pick up points at each of those stages in this race. So 40 points, the maximum amount awarded to the first rider, then 38, 36, 34. You get the gist. Down to 2 points for the rider in 20th position. Now, those positions could and may change throughout the race, and different riders will pick up different points at different opportunities. Many different tactics could well be used out there today.
And if you're not a sprinter coming into that finish with those 3 critical bumps, you can see them on the right-hand side of your screen with those yellow points, the 3 together. They really can be a place where you can force a breakaway, force a gap, open up some moves. And fortune favours the brave.
Yes.
The other thing for me that's really critical, and it's not a checkpoint as such, is that second part of the plateau just before the big climbs and the drop down. So what will our riders do here today? Who can score the points that are critical for taking you to the 2025 Cycling Esports World Championships finals? You can see our riders are lined up on the pens. And on this run into a race, I've sat on the start of a lot of different races, and I know how nervous I would be at this moment in time. Those nerves are good. Riders need to deal with them, though.
A bit of adrenaline is never a problem. Always makes you, nice and ready to go and ready to race. They do need to deal with them. And they need to keep calm. They need to execute a plan. This is just part of the process. And if they think about the process and one thing during this race they really want to execute, then that really does help keep the nerves under control.
Well, just in with Martin Kvista Messiasen. We'll get ahead of ourselves if we're not careful, because it is time to go racing here. The countdown is on. It's time for us to head out on the men's qualification race number 3 of the UCI Cycling Esports World Championships for 2025. 4 public qualifiers going to be done at the end of today, Emma. We are going to have one left. Let's just run people through the screens. So first of all, I'll go and I'm going to pick on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. So that's the rider we're watching, Martin Mathiasen. In there, you can see that his power, his heart rate, the revs or the pedal cadence and the speed that they're traveling of is on there. Emma, your turn. Pick something on screen.
Well, on the right-hand side at the very top, you've got the map, a little bit of GPS where you can see the road layout in front of the riders. You can also see the red line, which is the gradient the riders are on. The yellow vertical line is indeed where the rider we are highlighted at the moment is. Then we've got the list of names.
So the right-hand side of the list of names, it's known as the nearby list. It's who's nearby to who. It's really that simple. Who's neighbours? On that list, you can see the number of riders who are in there. So you can see who's putting down what power. Here we can see at the moment Jamie Cahill in 12th position. He's putting out 212 watts. He's just moved up to 11th. You can see him moving about in the bunch. You can see the riders around them. You can see the zone that the power that they're on the right-hand side. Zone 1 is basically having a chat with your feet up doing a Mary Poppins. Or is it zone 6? You're going to be taking it to the limit. You're going to be digging in deep and you're going to be right on your absolute max and everything in between. Below that, the power. Now, the numbers of power, the watts, they're either in green, that is in the draft, or they are in white when they are in the wind.
Now, this is an interesting move by the rider off the front at the moment, Carlos Ramirez. Can I just say why? Because he's a really, really strong rider. He's one of the strongest riders we've got on the start sheets today. And he's decided really early on to go out and go long.
And we can see he's doing 400 watts, nearly 6 watts per kilo, heart rate of 141, and no time gap from him to himself because he's on 0 time. And that's him. You can see him out the front of this group. He's up the front. Top left-hand side of your screen very quickly. You've got the distance that we've covered so far with the total distance at the end, that bar graph indicating how far along we are and how far we've got to go. And the time of racing on the top of your screen's dead centre. We're in with Jamie Cahill. Jamie, very strong rider, powerful rider, good in a sprint, good on a climb. Could be really interesting to see how he goes when we get on to that climb. I would imagine he's going to be looking to really hit some big points on this very first segment. We're going into those hills already.
Well, and I think the question is, if I was watching this, is why are the pack not chasing Ramirez? We said this is a points race. The first rider over the line gets 40 points, then 38, then 36, then 34. There's just 2 points separating first from second. They are about to head into the first climbing section of the day, and you can see Ramirez now backing off the pace a little bit. He'll be on the other side on the descent and coming towards the main set of hills. Those are the Alpha Quar hills that you saw on the map at the start of the show. 7 rolling hills making up that first climbing section. The checkpoint coming just after, or should I say just before, the 7-kilometre marker.
And we're now starting to see a response coming from Cam Winfield, the rider on your screen dead centre in the white jersey, black shorts. Cam Winfield from Australia got a good sprint on him, one of the younger riders in the peloton, in the race field here today. He is slowly but surely getting older, as we all hopefully do. But I tell you something, he's been getting stronger as well. Meanwhile, Peter Cridland goes over top. Very aggressive rider. We've seen him out and attacking on a regular basis here on MyWhoosh. Tomoki Takasugi, what a rider. We know he'll give absolutely everything to this. We saw a lot of his face on screen during the MyWhoosh Championships. You can watch that back. Go on to MyWhoosh to YouTube, go on to the MyWhoosh channel, and then look for MyWhoosh Championships 2025. You can watch 2023. There's a real back catalogue of racing on MyWhoosh, and always great to see that development.
Well, there's a great group of riders here. Ericsson, Fournier, Danes, Hoyas, Morel, Berlin, Thiem, Ospina. Really great group of riders here in the mix. And Dean Cunningham is here as well. So I'm expecting this race not to be over till they cross the line.
I would. don't disagree with that. It is a big group as well in here, and I think that's very telling, isn't it? The way that this big group is in. Just taking a little bit of a check here, I make it 32 riders in this race group at the moment. Dean Cunningham, on the back of this pack, will he be able to put his name on a place to go to the world's semi-finals?
Good question. This is the day to do it, and they are at the 3.6 kilometre marker. Cridland, Ramirez, having brought Ramirez back into the pack. Ramirez, Cridland, Berlin, Bendetti, Hoyas. Niederhauser is in here as well. Winfield, Morelli, Ericsson. It's a big pack, and they're rolling, and they really are pushing on the climb and then recovering on the descent. And for me, this race today, this points competition, all about repeatable efforts. So 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute powers are the most important here today. And what's even more important is your powers of recovery and ability to push again.
So can you keep that pace down? Can you push? Can you then rest, recover? How much do you go in? All the riders thinking about this. Some will do it on very much intuitive feel. Some of our riders will be looking at the numbers that they're producing. They'll know to within one beat of the heart rate what their limit is. Some will do it on feel. But one of the key things they need to remember is that those points are key. And getting some points in the bank early is a very good move. Peter Cridland on the climb here. 7 watts per kilo, 630 watts just gone down from Cridland as they come up towards the crest of this bridge here. I will get told off if I call it an elevated roadway by my co-host here, Emma Martin. It does span across from one side to another of a river.
Well, whilst it might, the riders pushing on here. And as we said, constantly rolling front on the pack here at the moment. And I think that is what we are going to expect for a short while here until this race settles down. But Fournier now coming to the fore. Niederhauser is there. Ramirez has not lost this pack at all. Hertz now coming up towards the front. And Bendetti for the first time.
So 32 riders in that group. Cridland going from the very front to the very back of that group as he came over the top that time, putting the power on. He then accelerated through the dip. You can see him on the front here with that yellow jersey on at the moment. That is Cridland out of the saddle. He's continuing to push. You can see he goes over the top, then gets swallowed by this group. He'll go towards the back then and then use the downhill, I suspect, when we get over the top to pick up pace as well. Learning to ride this roller coaster section and where you expend energy, really critical. 9.5 watts per kilo, now 9.8 coming from Daniel Hoyos. He's really looking to break this clear. And this is the penultimate rise, isn't it, before we get to the finishing archway.
And pushing into the attack like Hoyos is doing is what gives you the momentum to drive for that line, and it gives you added momentum. So the pace picking up dramatically for Hoyos as he digs into the descent to carry him into the ascent and hopefully give enough momentum so that pack stays clear. Well, Carlos Ospina on the front now, absolutely sprinting now, going for the banner. The banner is going to be just around the corner at the top of the climb, and Ospina is pushing, but Hoyos and Niederhauser now coming through.
So here we go. This is the run for the line. This is going to be key. Who's going to take away those points? It looks like Mundel's going to just roll this as he goes over the line. Mundel, Mathiasen, Cahill, Themes, Zhang, Oya, Kayan, Burke, and Kayan going over inside the top 10 there. The points will be allocated out. It's Mundel who's going to score the maximum 40 points. I think Mathiasen taking 38 in second, Cahill taking 36 in third. They're confirmed. You can see them on your screen. This group on the way through as well has done some serious damage because it's gone down to 27 riders. In fact, you can probably make that 26 now. A number of riders not able to stay with the pace and being distanced, including Cridland, who we've just seen on the front.
Yeah, and I was just looking for Carlos Ramirez, the rider we saw go out the start pen fast and hard. He came through out of the points in 22nd place. So Ramirez not picking up points on that first section, even though he drove the pace so early. So Mundel, Matheson, Cahill, Thiem, Zhang, Oya, Kayan, Burke, Kayan, Khan, Morelli, Hertz, Winfield, Fournier, Bendetti, Cunningham, Niederhauser, Danes, Takasugi, Honda, Berlin, and Wolf picking up points through that first climbing checkpoint.
So our riders on the way through, down to 23 riders now in this group. Bergen, Wolf, Dummer, Arseno, Tuomi, Eriksson, Cridland, Scala, Safrazetti, all distance out of the group. They've all gone backwards. They're no longer in contention. Ika Morel, one of the coaches on MyWhoosh, currently hovering around the top three there. Takasugi doing the same. So is Hoyos. Daney's in there. Berlin theme. Yunsei Honda's got to be woman to watch on this. Bergen, this is our chasing rider. The pace had eased as they came through the checkpoint a little, and then it went back on again quite quickly. The front of this group's rolling at about 4.5 watts per kilo. That's still going to be putting riders under pressure, and it makes chasing back on very difficult because the draft effect, being able to hide behind a rider, means you can take it in turn. You're expending less energy when you're not on the front of that group.
Yeah, and the draft really, really key here. It is a significant benefit in terms of energy saving to be in the draft. And you'll see the numbers on the right-hand side of your screen in the nearby list be in green for power, which indicates the rider is in the draft.
Now, just in with Bergen trying to chase on at the back of this pack. On the front of the pack, Cam Winfield has been accelerating. You just make his white jersey out at the very head of that group. He's been pushing on, trying to make the race go, just to try and bring a quicker race to everybody, rather than make it a slower race where with bigger accelerations and more explosivity. Very different tactics, because a lot of riders will want this to be hard from the get-go. They will want to push on. Winfield's done that. He went to the front. He's now dropped right at the back. And in fact, he's the nearest rider to Bergen. His is the white jersey. You can just about make out at the back of the group there.
Well, sitting at the back of the group taking the draft. But, the group are wide across the road at the moment. They're at the 8.6 kilometre marker. And, the checkpoint coming at 10.2. So they've still got some way to go until they get to the sprint. And the pack is rolling steady at the moment. Carlos Ramirez, the rider who went off the front at the start of the race, he's in the pain cave now, working hard.
He is indeed, and great to see him in action here. The rider from Colombia. He's got a good power on him. He's got a great kick on him, hasn't he? And he's going to be good at climbing as well. I think very interesting to see how he goes on this course today. I'll be very, very interested to see how he holds into the group as he goes along. So we'll be very interested to see, can he hold it? Can he keep pace? Can he answer all these attacks? There are all these different moves on the front. Another move going. Another rider looking to go up the road here at the moment. And I think it's Takasugi who's on the move.
Takasugi is indeed pushing on here. And the rider from Japan absolutely motoring it. Ramirez covers the move. So does Berlin and Fournier. Hertz and Oya, Mundell and Cahill. Now, interesting move from Mundell and Cahill, covering the move, but making sure they stay at the front of the pack, making sure their numbers stay green. Smart riding. You want to give yourself the best effort to punch through each of those 5 sections where you're going to score points, and in between you want to keep out of the wind, you want to keep out of the effort, and you want to do as minimum amount as possible. Well, Cahill now on the front here continuing to drive, and they're driving because they're in the final 500 metres towards the sprint banner, and the sprint banner is coming up, and Jamie Cahill absolutely adamant he wants this. He's driving off the front of the group. Berlin is there, Hertz is there, Morelli is there, Thiem is there, Cam Winfield now goes, so does Nicholas Fournier. Fournier's gone at about 14 watts per kilo. Fournier is moving through the pack as Winfield does too. Will they catch Cahill? Can Cahill hold out for the 40 points? Is Fournier going to make this? Fournier is coming hard from behind, and so is Matheson now with Winfield. Oh, he gets swamped on the line. Cahill gets swamped on the line. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see where he finishes up, but he finishes up in 7th because Matheson, Bert Kane, Daniel Mundell, Henrik Oya, Carlos Ospina and Cam Winfield all come over the top. Nicholas Fournier and Ika Morel are there as well. That's what it does to the standings.
So Mathiasen at the top with 78 points, 2 points clear of Mundell in 76. Bert Kane in 66 points, so 10 points back. Cahill and Oya right in the mix. Winfield scoring well with Thiem. They're both 50 points or more. Above 40 points is Sang, Fournier, Morel and Khan Kayan. Just in that 30-point bracket, Spina, Cunningham and Hertz. And you can see Takasugi on 8 points, the rider who is right at the front of the group, putting in that early attack as they came in over the line. He actually had lost a few seconds. He's now 7 seconds back on Chasers and 11 seconds back, I think, on the group. Just going to keep a double check on that time, but it's looking like he's going to have to really work. Cahill has been distanced as well. Takasugi is on the charge behind. You can see the train of riders coming. Takasugi, the rider in the orange, the rider in the white, just behind this group. That is Cahill. And after that big push for points, Emma, this is the problem, isn't it? If you expend too much energy at the wrong time, you're going to get distance. You're going to get swamped as the pack go over the top.
Oh, it's all about energy and position management. But as we're seeing at the moment on the screen, Takasugi coming up past Cahill, he's going to take him back. And if these two riders work together, they will indeed get into contact. Cahill needs to stay in the draft of Takasugi at the moment because Takasugi will get on. Cahill needs to push here. He needs to close that gap down. He is indeed. They are all going to come back together again. But... and I say but, the next opportunity for scoring points comes at the 18.9 kilometre marker. And that is after they hit the climb. The climb is 4.5 kilometres in length, but it's a multi-stepped climb, 6 steps to this climb. It doesn't sound like a lot. It's got an average gradient of 2.8%, but that's because of the stepped nature. There are lots of flat sections. There's even a downhill transition between 2 of the steps of the climb. So expect steeper sections, but they're short, they're sharp, and well, I expect when we get to the top, this group still to be battling.
I'm sure it will, but will it be the size? I don't think. I think we're going to be down in numbers in terms of the group. Remember, we started off this race and we very quickly got down to the about 32, 30 riders. Went down to 27 as we went through the group. We're down to 21 riders now. Burke Kane in here. So's Dean Cunningham, Nicholas Fournier, Ika Morel in here. But your big scorers so far, your top 5 point scorers, top 2, Matthiasen and Mundell, 78 and 74 points respectively. Oya and Kane, Burt Kane, that is 66 points, so 2 points clear of Jamie Cahill.
Well, he is indeed, as they continue this transition towards the base of the climb. 1 or 2 short, I was going to say bumpy bits, but short pushes along the way just to ensure you're keeping the legs awake. But Ika Morel on the front of the pack at the moment. So the pack rolling now towards the base of the climb. You can see the first step of 6 on the top right-hand corner of your screen, that red line that gives you the gradient that the riders are facing. You can see the climb just starting to unfold. The riders can see exactly what you can see on this screen on the broadcast. The only difference is they see it from the position of their avatar. So all the information that you see, all the numbers, all the stats, it is indeed in our rider's view as well. Like we say, the position in the pack is what determines from that avatar's point of view what exactly they see from the rider's perspective. Well, at the moment, we've got a number of riders in the group here. 21 riders now in this pack. Yes, points go to 20th. So if you've done your maths like I have, one rider will be missing out at the next points scoring opportunity should this pack stay together.
Well, yeah, even I can do 21 minus 20 equals 1. Just taking a little look behind these riders as they riders make their way in on the way through this course. This course is going to be a very interesting battle for them. People trying to move up and down through here. We're in with Yunsei Honda. It is a real privilege to get a view into the riders' pain case, into where they are racing and riding. And as you can see, Yunsei Honda there, the fan blowing, keeping him cool, trying to cut down on that heart rate drift that you get. Your performance will degrade as your heart rate rises due to the heat. So that is something that the riders are looking to monitor on the way through. Keep that condition stable. It's all about making sure that you keep that environment as controlled as you can. Doing a good job at the moment, though. Yunsei Honda nicely in with this group. And another rider who I would expect to be very much in the battle as they go on to the climb.
Yes, I agree with you, and part and parcel of the mix, and good positioning at the moment as they go onto the early stages of the climb. Takasugi at the front of the pack, Morelli, Ramirez, Niederhauser, Thiem, Matheson, Danes, Cunningham, all coming to the fore of the group. A little bit of rolling movement as they transition to the flatter section now. And you'll see the pack change shape. So wide across the road, everybody at a steady state, all riding at a similar pace and power. As the group elongates, it means the riders at the front are stretching and putting the power down at the front, and the riders further back in the group not able to go with them.
Let's see who's going to blink first. Who will put the pressure on first? Are they going to choose to go on the steeper sections only? We're just coming into this left-hand turn. We're going to hit another of our rises here. The gradient will go from 0.4% right the way up. There's a little bit of a pause. Who will go? Is this a moment to take a flyer to come through the group, to accelerate from the back to the front? I think we're seeing that now from Honda. Honda's gone from the back of the group up to the second position here. So has Takasugi. Interesting move here by the two Japanese riders together. Honda and Takasugi both riding for Japan, both very evenly matched riders as well. Certainly on paper, very quickly up to the front. They knew where they wanted to push, as we see a move here by Tomoki Takasugi at nearly 7 watts per kilo off the front. Takasugi's wanting to drive on here. He's opening up a gap on the front. It's opened by a second on to everybody else. And who is going to go with him as we go along this flat section? He's putting the power down. He's got to keep this move going. He'll want a gap as he goes on to the next section of the climb and then use that to his advantage.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because the no response from behind, everybody else wanting to conserve energy for the two further sections of this climb. They know the punch is coming, but Takasugi's given himself some sliding room at the moment. He's a strong rider. They should not discount this move.
But it's 2 points. It's not about the full 40. It's 2 points from the next best rider.
Well, it is 2 points.
So do you let that go? Because let him go, let him burn up the road and burn some energy. You can either get him back as a group,
well, I'll give you a
you've
but.
lost 2 points.
I'll give you a but.
Yeah.
But the sprint checkpoint is not far away. It's only 2.9k from the top of the climb. If you can establish a decent breakaway and take the 40 points at the top here, and then you can hold that breakaway to the sprint checkpoint, bam, all of a sudden you've won 2 checkpoints.
That is one of the things that the riders are going to be aware of. But it's okay, it's not 2 points, it's 4 points, but it's still how much you expend. 4 points, 10%. 5% of the points total available on those scores. You've got to balance it up, risk versus reward.
But you've also got to do the trade-off that there were 21 riders in the group when Takasugi was in it, which means someone's not going to score any points. You've got to be convinced you're going to be at the front of that group, not the back of it. The group is too big, I think, for not chasing down at the moment. If it was a group of 8 riders, I'd feel a little happier to let a gap go.
Well, the pressure going on now as they come over this steep section, and you can see Iker Morel is the rider who is making his way up here. The Spanish rider goes up over the top. It wasn't so much a chase as it was the gradient went up. The power went up, and that naturally then started to pull them towards Takasugi. Takasugi now, the gap down to 3 seconds. Mathiasen, remember, scoring big in those early point scores. He's right up there in 3rd place, 4th place at the moment. Ramirez is there. Danis is there. So is Zhang. Oya is not far away. Henrik Oya's got to be watched. He's such a canny rider. He knows exactly what he's doing here when he's racing. Jamie Cahill, though, coming to the back of that group. And at the moment, I think he's in a little bit of trouble at the back of the group. He's off the back by what is maybe half a second or so. So is Honda as well. Honda's in trouble. So there's a number of riders who are just having to push back up through this group. Berlin just dropping down near the back of the group as well. So Gustav Berlin, who'd gone to the front, goes to the back of that pack at the very, very front. Though Ramirez is starting to pressure 6 watts per kilo. So power to weight ratio absolutely critical on the climbs. On the flat sections, you have to factor in absolute power.
Well, let's just give you a quick update and a reminder on the current overall standings. Mathiasen leading the top of the tree with 78 points, Mundell with 76, Bert Kane with 66, Jamie Cahill with 64, Henrik Oya with 64, Christoph Thiem with 54, and then Cam Winfield with 50 points. Those are the names we are looking for at the moment. You can see Khan Kane, 48 points, tied with Iker Morel, and then Nicolas Fournier rounding out the top 10. Well, Ramirez is pushing on again here. We saw him drive at the start of the public qualifier. He's going to drop into the descent, and then we're on the final section of the climb, and the polka dot banner that will signify the climbing checkpoint where those 40 points are available is not that far away.
And this is where the group gets that advantage of the big group dynamics, the pack dynamics. They will close a little bit of time out, even if they don't accelerate as they come through, but we'll have to get back on to the climb. Much lower power, though. You see Ramirez kicking on the way, even on that downhill, he was working harder. They go on to the climb. Now the pack start to move behind him. Ramirez, as you look back from Ramirez to that group, 6 seconds is the gap on your screen. The chase comes from Christoph Thiem, one of the really strong riders in this group. Cunningham starts to move up, as does Ika Morel, Hoyos, Matthias, and Honda, Danish. All those protagonists that we expect to be there are now starting to move. The gap sits at 5 seconds. Winfield is in this main group. So is Takasugi. Niederhauser is in there as well. This is about making sure you stay in contention. Get ready to go. Hit that sprint. Yunsei Honda leading the charge, though, behind. He's coming at 9 watts per kilo. He's going to make the junction here onto the wheels. So Honda at the moment makes the junction. He goes alongside. He goes to the left-hand side there and into the lead in the black and green, going over that white UAE Emirates jersey of Ramirez. The man with the black and green jersey goes in front, but he has not broken the elastic, and the rest of the group are coming. There are not huge gaps behind, and this will be all about who's got the pace. Now Mathiasen moves up. Does Mathiasen want to score another perfect score? I'm sure he does. He's going to come charging into the lead. He's on the front now. They come around that left-hand turn. Mathiasen going. Morel kicks at 9, now 10 watts per kilo. That's the man in the black and orange. He's not going to have enough to take maximum points. He will take second place. Mathiasen, Morel, Bert Cairn, Cam Winfield, along with Christoph Thiem, go in and through. Emma, do we have the confirmed points as they went over the top there?
Well, so Matheson took it from Morel, from Cairn, from Winfield, from Thiem, Cairn in 6th, Oyer in 7th, Hoyos in 8th, Honda in 9th, and Ramirez in 10th. And that's what it does to the overall standings. So Matheson leads and extends his lead to 118 points. Bert Cairn, phenomenal positioning and point picking up, puts him into 2nd with 102. So all change at the moment at the top. Oyer and Mundell tied on 92. Then we've got Thiem Morelli timed on 86. Cam Winfield sat in 7th with 84 points. Now, the push is on here, and this is an interesting move. So Morelli now continues to drive here because I said it wasn't a long run until we got to the next sprint checkpoint, which comes at the 21.5 kilometre marker. So this is a drive now, whilst everybody else is trying to recover. Look at Matheson, 1.1, 1.2 watts per kilo. They're recovering behind. Morelli, he's pushing on to that checkpoint.
So Ika goes up and over the top here as he went over, he pushed. That's a great move by him. I think that's going to be a very, very interesting move by him. So smart. Go for this checkpoint, sprint your way down and through. You're not getting a reaction as they come in and through. So Hoyos there now starts to think about, what do I do? Do I chase? Do I not? He's sat in zone 2. He's not pressurizing. You've got Morel, 6th, zone 6. Now Davies starts to put up some pressure on. He moves up to the front of the group. It's now 10 seconds. It's hovering. It's extending. It hovers a bit longer. It extends a little bit more. It's yo-yoing up and down, but it's now out to nearly 11 seconds. Ika Morel on the front. 423 watts of peak there on that little kick as he came through, still holding 5 to 6 watts per kilo. He knows he's going to get this, but the question then for me is, what do you do? Do you rest? Do you wait? Do you see if you can keep that gap? The move is going behind. Now the gap is going to come down because there's a charge behind it. Daniel Hoyos leading that charge with Mundell. Daney's coming up on the side as well. So this is Ramirez, I think, who's going to go right over the top with Mundell. They are. So Mundell at the moment looking in a good place to come across. Can he make that junction? 8 seconds. It's already starting to come down as they come around this left-hand turn here. This is interesting. Can Mundell get across? I'm not sure he's kicking hard enough. Ramirez, they're going to bring the group back if it continues like this. Ikemerel has got to keep pushing. He's got to ignore what's going on behind, not listen if he's got the live stream on in his ears in the background. Lots of riders racing with it to get that extra added view. Morel can now see that he's got a left-hand turn coming. He can see that it's a right-left, a chicane before he comes in. He can see that on the radar view. That gap at the moment it's opened up. It's about 200 metres, I think, between Morel and the main bunch, between 150 and 200 metres on the road, a distance that they've covered so far. And at the moment, it could be enough. They're into the run for the Face Rock Sprint. And one man who's time trialing his way through to that is Ika Morel. He's going to surely pick up maximum points. He turns the right-hand bend. He sees the sprint. Nice move over the top. Keep that move going. Through he goes. Ospina behind. He's looking to wipe those points off the board for the maximum points. But there is a huge, huge charge coming in and through. But Cahan storms through. He absolutely nailed that. Great riding. Back to front. Boom. Job done.
And I'll tell you something, both of the Cahan brothers, Bert Cahan and Kaan Cahan, the two riders from Turkey, are picking up phenomenal points there and really doing well, lifting themselves. And look at Ika Morel moving himself up onto third in the overall standings. Bert Cahan's sprint taking him to equal now on 140 points with Matheson. And then Morel in third with 126, ahead of Oya with 124. Theme, Kaan Cahan and Cam Winfield now all tied on 114 points. This is close. We knew it would be when 21 riders went away. Ospina in ninth, Cahill in 10th, Ramirez, Honda, Niederhauser, Danny, Zhang, Hoyas, Fournier, Hertz, Takasuki. Well, as the riders come through, really interesting, all shifting around. Now, if you want to ask Ika Morel how he did that and what his plan was, he is one of the live coaches on MyWhoosh. You can join his live coaching sessions. Yes, live coaching exists. The coach pops up in a small video screen. You can see them, hear them, talk to them. It's amazing. Great way to get your training session done.
So here we are. We're on screen with Kaan Cahan. He took the King of the Mountains competition in his category on the MyWhoosh Championships, the 7-stage stage race on MyWhoosh with that $1 million prize fund. And at the moment, Kaan Cahan riding well. We saw him sprint well time and time again in the very first championship back in 2023. He's progressed and progressed since then. And the rider from Turkey, I think, really is, a natural fit into being on the semi-final start list and on that start line. I can't imagine he's going to be anything but. You never know. So, watching the riders continue to push. Kaan Cahan at the moment, just out of the saddle there in person. They're all still chasing Ika Morel. Morel's gap at the moment, holding at about 12 seconds. It looks closer, but that is because you are seeing a little bit of a slowdown. You're on the run up to the top of this peak. This is on the plateau after the sprint. So we're still on that Vessel Rock plateau that we climbed up to. We're going over the top. We've done the sprint. We're going up this climb. We drop slightly. Then we go up again. That's actually the highest point on today's race route before we drop down. It's starting to put the pressure on. Morel right up into the mix. You can see him at the moment in third place with 126 points. Meanwhile, tied on points, Bert Cahan and Martin Matthijssen, 140 points up at the top.
Yeah, they are indeed. And this is an interesting move. So it's a double climb off the plateau. So you come up over the first climb, you then descend somewhat into the second climb. Then when you get to the top of the second part of the climb, it's then the main descent down to the flatlands. Three small
rises,
rollers, I think was the word I was looking for, on the run in towards the finish. But they shouldn't really challenge our riders. Morel, the question is, will he stay clear now? He's sat in time trial mode. That is the only thing he really can do.
And his actions have had a consequence for the bunch behind, the group behind. You can see on your screen, that is a much diminished group. I make that 12 riders in the chasing group. It's not all that long ago. We were talking about 20s and 30s. But my goodness me, we are now down to 12 chasing riders. Then a gap back of 25 seconds to Christoph Thiem. He's currently behind the main group. Another 7 seconds back is Cahill. Some familiar names from earlier on. Berlin in here, Cunningham, Hertz. They're all distance off the back of this group. That is very, very telling. And I think that's going to be very interesting as we move on through this race field. One man who I don't think is going to be scoring any more points at the very front is Matthijssen. We've still got to just get that confirmed, but I think he's been dropped from the leading group. He's not on our screens at the moment, so we are going to see what happens as Ika Morel sprints into the downhill. Now, that's smart riding. You can see sprints, builds momentum, quick rest, micro rest as Emma would call it.
Yep, micro rest.
Onto the pedals, time to accelerate. Biggest height of the day, the highest point of today's race route, up at the top of this little plateau that you can see the red line of the course profile. And as you see that moves from right to left, you can see Ika Morel at the moment out of the saddle on our screens, or his avatar is 430 to 550 watts is the range at the moment as he powers up here. Great riding by him, right on the limit though, zone 6.
Yeah, he is indeed. And, he knows what he's doing. He's got less than 8 kilometres to the finish line. He knows what he can hold. He'll know his numbers. He'll know how long he can hold them for. What the rest of the group are doing behind, well, they've been conserving energy. He's now banking on the fact that the group are going to look at each other and not look at him. I tell you something, it is worth a punt at the moment as Morel drives towards the top of the climb. He's going to get there before everybody else. He's going to transition across the flat section and then he's going to hit the descent. Takasugi now on driving from the group, so is Ken. Now let's remember, they're not driving for any checkpoint at the top of the climb. What they're doing is driving for the finish line, because that's the only other place now where there are points available.
And here comes Takasugi. He's almost onto the wheels. So is Khan Kayan. Bert Kayan with him. Ramirez is too. This is the group that's made the junction. Has this chase eliminated anybody out of the group? And the answer is, well, it's put riders in trouble behind. Oya, Ospina, Danes, Hoyos, all in trouble at the back of this group. There's some big splits. You can see it could go into 2 here. There could be a break go, which splits this group in 2. We're in with Carlos Ramirez at the moment. As we come over the top of that climb, you can just see as these riders come up and over. Now, I think we're going to get the group come back together again. Niederhauser, potentially the last rider to make contact in that pink and blue jersey of Wahoo, on his way. He's just eased off a little bit here. I think he's very aware that you can get some recovery before you descend, before you come into the sweeping bed and onto that downhill. Well, you can see Ramirez at the moment
wiping the sweat out of his eyes.
Yeah, he's doing a great job so far. Can he make this count? Can he make this a winning score today? He's got to keep on scoring points. He's currently on 60 points in total. Remembering, I think the tied points at 140, if I remember correctly at the moment.
Yes, indeed. So Ramirez just sat outside the top 10 at the moment in the on the leaderboard, and he'll be looking to pick up more points in the finish. But so will everybody else in this group.
So Niederhauser, the rider at the moment, just making his way up. The little split in that group is there. Leading the riders back together again. 13 riders together. Behind, there is a bit of an express train on the move because one rider who didn't come out of the blocks quite as quick as anybody else, certainly moving well, was Said Safrazadi, who has gone very quickly, but he's now leading a train of chasers. Emma, how far back was that?
Around 22 seconds.
Wow. So he's on his way, because he was giving away a lot of time early on as the bunch accelerated through. Will he make it back? We will have to wait to find out. The run is going to be key. Now we are in with Said Safrazadi at the moment. This is the nearest group to our leaders. So this is group number 2 on the road. So this is the group of Safrazadi at the moment. He's got riders in and around him. Zhang and Thiem are in that pack, but it's a big ask, isn't it, now at this stage, Emma, with the terrain we've got back? I mean, we know that he can really power, but they're on the downhill. And at the moment, the leading a group descending, they're currently doing 56 kilometres an hour. We're seeing 55 from the chasers. There's not much speed differential.
And the challenge now is the lack of points available in the race. And I think what we're going to see is him back on the start line on Wednesday and really pushing because, you know, for me, he's one of the riders I would really look forward to seeing in those semi-finals.
Oh, yes. I think he's... And we've seen him on a regular basis over the last few years on MyWhoosh. He's just been doing a brilliant job of racing really hard. Now, another rider that we saw working very well last week, Camille Dainies in here, nicely tucked in with this group. Definitely a rider to watch out for, the Frenchman, as we come in towards the finish. Dainies, though, I think we'll be looking to break away rather than necessarily sprint, because he's one of our lighter climbers. He's a rider who is going to go well when it goes uphill, not so much necessarily in a big group sprint into the finish. Not that it's going to be that big with 13 riders in the group, but it's still big enough.
Oh, it's still a big up sprint, you know, 13 riders coming into the finish line altogether. You know, there's a big differential between the number of points the rider on the front is going to get versus the rider on the back. Of course, all those points are important because this is, as we said at the start, a points race. It doesn't matter whether you finish third over the line. That doesn't mean you are third in the race. It's all about points accumulation, and there's a big push going on at the moment, and it is Takasugi who's going again. You know, this rider is a really aggressive rider, and it's fabulous to see, always wanting to actually make the action as the rider pushes on here. So Takasugi, the rider from Japan, absolutely dialing this here at the what's coming up to 29 kilometres. So they've got 3.2k to go here, and Takasugi's gone long. Ramirez and Winfield now trying to close it down. So is Khan Kane. Kane, I think, particularly Khan Kane, will go strong in the final sprint. He's going to want all of these riders to be together, and so will a number of others in this group.
So if we were picking sprinters out of this, we're talking about people like Cam Winfield, we're talking about Burt Kane, we're talking potentially Khan Kane. We're talking riders who've got that big kick. Ramirez has shown he's got a kick. Just taking a look a little bit further down the race route at Jamie Cahill. Cahill at the moment, I think, in the chasing group in 14th position at the moment. So just outside the top 13 because they're down the road. The gap about 50 seconds ahead of this group.
Picked up some
riders.
good points early on.
He did, and that's really, really helped him because... whereabouts is he on the overall, Emma? Is he inside that top 10?
Yeah, he's currently sat in 9th at the moment. Good strategy. Go out hard, pick up points, and then find a position where you can hold. And that's what he's doing. He's riding his own race, but it's an important one.
Now back up to the front of the group. A rider in orange goes down the road. No prizes for guessing Tomoki Takasugi. He's doing a Tomoki Takasugi. He's on the move. This was a phrase to Allport when it applied to early in the racing. Well, I tell you something, we could be having a Takasugi who's been doing attack after attack after attack further into the race because, oh my goodness, he has yet again shown he's prepared to throw everything, including the kitchen sink at this, because he just keeps on going. You know, he just does. He's on the limit at one point. He's almost off the back. He's almost getting, and he goes again. Now a counter attack. Ika Morel, you know, a proper 1-2 there. The counter move, the counter punch has gone. The attack has gone. Morel on the move.
Well, making this hard on the run into the finish. They've got less than 2 kilometres to go now, and there's not a lot separating the riders in the top 10 at all. Many of them tied on points. They won't want to be tied on points when it comes to the finish line, and when they've got their points all added together. 2 more short climbs in this roller section to go, and then they start the finale into the finish line. Morel, Burt Kane, Winfield, Ramirez, Niederhauser, Danis, Mundell, Oyer, all in the mix here, all in this group. 13 riders still in this.
All 13 will score points, but what points will they score? What points will those riders behind pick up? Who will end up at the top of the leaderboard as they come into our finish? Remember, this is our penultimate qualifier for public qualifiers. The chance for you, me. Well, maybe not me. I'm going to be putting words to the action. Not Emma. She's going to be doing the same. But you and all of your friends to jump on board. One more qualifier to come next Wednesday. If you can jump on and join us, we'd really love to see you there. It's going to be a real thrilling final chance for riders to set out their stall, to be going to those semi-finals, to be able to get onto that start line, racing from your pain cave. Don't worry, you won't have to get on the flight for the semi-finals. That's only if you make it to our finals, when you're going to be able to go to the home of MyWhoosh, to Abu Dhabi in the UAE in person in the finals. Who's going to be there? Well, riders have to qualify, and this is their move now.
Well, they are indeed pushing to qualify here, and Hoyos is on the front with Takasugi Ramirez as well in the draft, lining up and trying to recover for that finish line very, very shortly. Niederhauser, Morel, Danny's, Honda. Now the wind-up starts to come from behind. The pushers come on the front from Ramirez again. Hoyos and Takasugi all in the mix. The riders behind, they're hedging their bets. They're waiting for the shorter run to the line because it's still 600 metres to go.
So the right-hand turn, it's a sweeper into a tight left, and then the banner comes into sight. The finishing line here on public qualifier number 3. Hoyos' move off the front was answered by Ramirez. Ramirez has been sitting in that draft. He's not been going out on the front. He's been holding off. Hoyos is still continuing to push behind. This is about the big kick. This is who's got the power. I think we're going to see Kane coming up at 13 watts per kilo. Espina does the same. This is now the run. Bert Kayan moves up to the front of this. The banner comes, and Bert Kayan is going to take it from Espina, from Mundell, Kane, Yensei Honda, and Cam Winfield. My goodness me, Bert Kayan, his timing superb as they came to the line. The wind-up came. He answered it. He rolled over the top. He used that draft. Smart riding, explosive power, time to perfection.
It was absolutely brilliant. Well, we are going to see these group of riders come in now for the finish line together. This is Zhang at the moment, and Zhang is riding with Theme and with Cahill and with Safrazadi.
Wow, front of this race, very, very explosive. Those last points, big points going to Bert Kayan with Ospina, as well as Mundell, Honda, and Kane coming through. Those points will be added up. We'll see those totals at the end of the show to see who scored what at the end as they came in through the line. Remember, all of this provisional at the moment. We're into this tight left-hand turn here at the moment as they come round the turn. It looks to me like Zhang is going to take this. Zhang goes in. He's going to come over the line. It's going to be a good run from him. Then it's going to be Said Safrazadi as they make their way into the line. Theme comes across underneath the banner behind them. They are your next 3 riders in and home. And here are the scores on the doors.
Wow.
Bert Kayan, that final sprint, it was decisive. He went over the line. He pushed himself right up into top spot. 180 points in total. Great riding. A total race time, 45 minutes, 46.757 seconds. Oya in second place with 152 points, tied with Ika Morel. Then just behind, Kayan coming through. So Turkey with 2 of the riders inside the top 5. Daniel Mundell rounding out the top 5 along with Cam Winfield, tied on points.
We said it was close.
When it's tied on points, it comes to time, and that's where those positions are separated. It was incredibly close. And that 2 points between Kayan in 4th and Cam Winfield in 6th, separated out by seconds, then by time. If tied on points, you've then got Theme, you've got Ospina inside the top 10. Bert Kayan, brilliant ride by him, though, to take that. Fantastic riding by Oya. Did say he's one to watch. He's canny. He's smart. We never saw him right at the very front, but he picked up points consistently all the way through.
Yeah, Yonsei Honda finishing in 9th place overall with 92 points, just ahead of Jamie Cahill, who picked up those points really early on those first 2 checkpoints. Danny's coming through in 11th with 80 points. Then Ramirez, who was the rider out of the pen really early. Niederhauser in 13th. Zhang in 14th. Hoyos in 15th. And Takasugi, interestingly, in 16th place. He was really active towards the end of that race, but the timing in terms of picking up those points, not quite there.
Yeah, just a little bit of riding on the platform. Really, really critical for the riders. here on MyWhoosh. Getting used to it. You would go out and ride a mountain bike course without having ridden your mountain bike. So really, really important to make sure you get on board, jump on board and ride and see if you can take on the riders in our final public qualifier. That's coming up on Wednesday. Let's just briefly look back, Emma, on that. I mean, we saw smart move, smart attack there by Ika Morel. Really sort of, if there was an aggressive rider of the day, it was him. He went off the front. You compare that with Henrik Oya, who was really a very much a more focused ride, maybe a little bit cannier, a little bit sharper, a little bit more cute there, just making sure he got the right points. He was right up there. But Kane, that final sprint decisive from him, but he and Khan Kane were both picking up points consistently on the way through, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I mean, and you're quite right. We saw Morel go out long and go through 2 checkpoints at the front and picking up points that way. We saw Burke and Khan Kane playing it slightly different, relying on that sprinting strength that they both know they have to push their wheels into the wind exactly when it was required. Henrik Oya, for me, was the silent assassin of this race.
Yeah,
he really was. The Swedish rider, you never saw him. He was never off the front. He was never pushing in the moves. He was sat in the draft. He was being exactly where he needed to be, and he was consistent. He really, really delivered the job today. Daniel Mundell also, great ride from him as well. Cam Winfield, great to see him back. Yep. Really, really good. He's had some time away from cycling esports. He's come back in again recently. Fabulous to see him on board and scoring so well.
Yep. Good riding by Yonsei Honda from Japan. There's 2 Japanese riders along with Tomoki Takasugi really ripping this up. Ramirez on the front as well regularly. Hoyos in there. Dean Cunningham coming inside the top 20. And Said Safrazedi inside the top 20 as well. He didn't get the start he wanted to today's race, but he chased consistently on the way through and managed to pick up some points on the way into the finish. Now, Emma, this is qualifier race number 3. And we've got qualifier 4 to go. That is our last of our public qualifiers, the last chance to be in there. And people shouldn't be afraid to race and ride, should they? Don't be scared just because it's a big race, just because it says it's a world championship race.
No.
Because it's getting on your bike and racing and having fun. And fun, having fun, happy riders are fast riders, having fun, jump on board and come and race. What would be your one thing you'd say to people if they go, do you know what, I'm going to take the plunge, I'm going to come on and ride?
I would say to you, think about what you're able to do. Don't worry about your FTP. You don't need to match other riders. It's about 1 minute power. It's about sprinting power. It's about being able to ride the draft. That's what this is about. This is a very different style of racing. And you know what? You just never know. And the other thing I would say is you get to experience something different. You could be the rider sat on the sofa doing their normal thing. You could be the rider who said, yes, I just raced the 2025 UCI Cycling Esports World Championship Open Qualifier. I was there. I took to the start. And I tell you something, it'll be great fun if you do so.
Yeah, be brave, be bold, jump on board. We'll see who's going to be in that last chance to qualify for the semi-finals on the 3rd of October. And, of course, make their way to those finals if they get through there from that 150 riders in the semis to our 20 riders in person. That's 20 men and 20 women. We will be bringing you all of the action on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel, so make sure you hit the subscribe button on there. Thank you, everybody who's been putting comments on the live chat. We do read them all somewhere along the lines, but it's a packed, fast show. My name's Matt Payne. It's been a pleasure putting words to the action. You can get in touch with me at MattFixerPayne on Instagram. Please do give me a follow. Make sure you give Emma a follow, because Emma, of course, not only putting words to the action here, a great interview with Matt Smithson, the director of Esports, all about the World Championships on the Virtual Velo podcast that Emma is co-host of. You can get in touch with Emma. It's at biking_Emma. Make sure you follow at MyWhoosh on Instagram and on Facebook, and make sure that you get notified that you're there when we go live with the final of our public qualifiers. Who will make it through into the semis? Who's going to be our riders in the finals? That story still to unfold. Time for me and Emma to go grab an ice cream or coffee, or maybe both simultaneously. You never, ever know. If we do hit that affogato, you will be able to tell on social media. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Stay safe. We will see you on Wednesday for the final qualifier. Goodbye.
Goodbye.